It is currently Thursday, April 9th. It's been quite a bit since the last time I talked about anything. I mean, Loki, I've just been really busy. There's not a lot, there's a lot that I could talk about, but it's not a lot that really, that I can share. It's mostly just been experiences, which is kind of interesting. I mean, we're winding down. This is the last week of school, which is one crazy thing. It's been 8 weeks since I last updated. And in a lot of things, I went to Nagano. I went to, maybe did I even say, well, Nagano, I went to Niseko. I did a lot of things. I mean, just to kind of explore, did my own thing. I went to Kamakura. I went to Izu again. Like last week, I went to Izu, the Izu Peninsula, and I harvested takenoko, some baby bamboo, which is kind of crazy. It is getting almost a little bittersweet at this point, though, because it is winding down. I have 3 classes left. I'm already like halfway done with an essay that's not due until another 2 weeks, just because I can get it done early. And it's getting like everything has been so fun. Like playing volleyball all the time. Like just like doing so many things. Like on tomorrow, not tomorrow, Saturday, I'll be going to a soccer game, which would be really cool. There's not a lot of things that I can really say that I haven't already taken pictures of, which is going to be an interesting thing. So there's not a lot like Loki to say because it's all just been so amazing that it's just been experiences that I can't really relay on without just having to be there. I mean, one of my classes is already over. Like I already got a 98% in my comp sci class. And I've like figured stuff out for the summer. I've been doing a lot of things that I've it's just working out. And now that it's winding down, I'm getting a little sad cuz I like it here a lot. Which is really interesting thing cuz when I first was coming here, I was really nervous. I never lived in a city. I don't take public transportation. I was very nervous about you like speaking the language. Still very nervous about speaking the language. Like I'm surviving. I actually do pretty well. Like when I was last weekend, we were having talks about politics and it was really interesting because I just don't know enough words to be able to really say some things. Like when I was trying to explain how doctors work in the US with how they work for a hospital, but then some of them have their own practices and how that works. Trying to explain that to begin with in English, I think, is actually pretty difficult because it is kind of a convoluted system. But then having to explain that in Japanese is also much more difficult. But it's fun. I like speaking a different language. It really makes me think about what I want to say and how I say things because I have such limited knowledge of the language at this current moment. Like, taking 2 years of this language. I am currently would be at N4 level, which is like out of five is the fourth highest. It's not like great, but for 2 years, it's what is expected. And it's just been awesome. Like I love learning the language. I love like just hanging around. There's a lot of things about Japanese culture that I think is better than the US for me at least. There's just a lot of like aspects that the politeness is something that I or it's not even the politeness because when you like live where I live in the US, it's usually like normal to be polite. Like people aren't being rude most of the time, like maybe some of the major cities. But it's just the I like one of the things I really hate, because I just like don't really like social interactions as much as the other person, is people saying hi to people on the street, especially when you live in a small town. If you see somebody, you got to say hi. You see somebody in the grocery store, you got to say hi. And most of the time, I don't want to really put myself out there. Like, I'd rather just kind of do my thing and kind of get going, especially in like a public scenario. Like, there are times where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is one of my friends. I'll go say hi. Like, I'll do that. But here, there's no obligation to, which is kind of refreshing. Like, I can walk around and I don't have to worry about other people coming up to me or some I don't, it feels like everybody is not necessarily just focused on themselves, but understands that other people are living their own lives, and it's maybe a little bit rude to intrude onto them. And when you live in a small town where everybody knows each other, it's a little bit more difficult to do that. And I really, really enjoy not having like an expectation to talk to somebody or to like say hi when I'm walking by them. It's I kind of like that. I like that I can kind of keep to myself a little bit more and not maybe feel rude because of that fact. I think another thing that I really like here is that a lot of the interest that I just have in general, like maybe like anime, manga, some like more video games, or maybe some more just like I like playing volleyball, is not stuff that is inherently popular in the US or is inherently seen as the norm in the US, which is another thing that's really really nice is that for like first time in like a long time, I don't feel just out of place by liking certain things. Like if I wanted to watch One Piece every single Saturday, that is normal. Like people just do that. In the US, I kind of feel a little bit embarrassed about putting One Piece on and enjoying anime or watching like older animes like Memories or Perfect Blue. Like it is not something that most people do. And here it just is, and it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable and um a little less out of place, which is really really nice. And I kind of like those things. I really really like. And on top of the other things, like the food is great. I do miss Italian food. I'm actually going to be making some Italian food tonight because I asked, like, my host family has been cooking for me all the time, and I want to cook for them, and so I'll just make some shrimp scampi, something really simple. I want to try making risotto, but I'll have to really experiment with that before if I make it for the family. But yeah, the food is great. I mean, the views and like the architecture is amazing. Like that's one thing that I didn't really think about when coming here is that like just the way the cities are laid out and like kind of the houses is something that is really cool to look at. Like walking by and just being like, oh, that's a shrine right there. And the Torii gates are great. There are some things that I don't like any other place. Like train standing on a train for a long time really is unfortunate, but I love having the access to public transportation. Like just having the ability for me to get on a train and I can go down to Yokohama in 30 minutes or go to Tokyo in 45 minutes is so nice. And I can hit Tokyo and then I go up to Nagano in an hour. Like it is so awesome to have that, but there also are some drawbacks when it's that populated, that much density. I think like there are things that I can foresee that I would not like about Japan when I'm not outside of school. I mean, working conditions are very tough, cost of living crisis, and like the growing isolation when you are a foreigner or when you are just somebody that doesn't really have a substantiated network of friends like I do back at home. It is it is tough, and I still recognize that I am like in the honeymoon phase, but it has been a really really awesome experience so far. And I'm just getting kind of sad that in a month I'll be going home. In 2 weeks I will be leaving the house and doing a little bit of a solo traveling. I'll be going down to Matsuyama, Nagasaki, and Fukuoka. I was really trying to go to an island called Tsushima, but because there's not really any public transit on that island and you need a car, and I can't rent a car because I don't have the proper like requirements for it. Um, I kind of nixed that, which is a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, and also like one thing I didn't really think also that I love so much is warm weather. Like I live in cold weathers, and I used to say that winter was my favorite season. And I don't think winter is my favorite season anymore. I think being in the mountains in winter is my favorite thing of all time. I love skiing, I love the views, I love the snow. But when you're not in the mountains and don't have the ability to ski, snow and cold kind of gets a little bit depressing. I mean, there's a term to it, seasonal depression. And when it's been constantly like in the 50s, now going up towards the 70s right now, I have loved this warm temperature. And I feel like that is something I did not expect when coming over here. But yeah, I have one class today because my other one got canceled, the computer science class, because we've already finished it. And I should probably start heading out soon enough for that. But it has been really awesome. There's so many like experiences that I've done that I will never be able to do again. And like this has been one of the best times in my college experience. Like just been able to really kind of go out on my own. Like really like there are a lot of things that I didn't really recognize about myself when coming here, like the winter thing, like being in snow. Like I realized that I really like being around nature. I like being in the woods. I like being in smaller communities rather than a vast city network. There are things that it's really interesting coming because when you kind of live in the same areas all your life, like I've lived in towns less than 2,000 people in population, with mountain towns, ski towns, and like this same feel all my life because that's what I've liked. It's kind of just become normal. But when you come into a different scenario, you start realizing that you like things a little bit more. Like I used to say that probably my favorite food would have been Asian food, but now I also really recognize that I like Italian food. Like I really like a good pasta here and there. And I love a good fried rice, I love a good ramen. But sprinkle in a couple of shrimp scampi's or penne alla vodkas, maybe a good risotto every so often. That's where it's at. And it's really interesting having such a different experience, kind of how much that shows how like things that you don't really you take for granted about yourself, which is really cool, and something that I would never give back for anything in the world. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead to class and then Loki come right back because I gotta go do some shopping, get all the food I need. But yeah, it's been a crazy 8 weeks.